Should is actually a judgment word. So there's a lot of power behind the words. I'm trying to shine a light on with the work is around self-awareness in how we speak. I use this with leaders is that, can you see yourself in conversation? Often not, because you're just talking. So some of the really great observations about how you show up is the type of words you use. What kind of verbs are you using? If you use, one example I talked about is, I should, you should. Should is actually a judgment word. So there's a lot of power behind the words. And we talked about this at the beginning, how words have power, right? How you use the words, how you use them on yourself have power. And so can you see how you're talking about yourself and to others? That's the first piece. The other piece that's really quite fascinating that I highlight to leaders is the type of questions that you ask. What's in the question? A lot of us do ask leading questions more than we realize, right? It's like, we should do that, shouldn't we? Or I should do that, rather than what's the best option? Like, so ask open-ended questions. It's a practice. It's a habit. And it's actually an intentional thing that we're not taught, unfortunately, as like a life skill. And so it's asking really open-ended, non-judgment questions. How and what are the best? Why is actually not, funny enough, non-judgmental question. And finally, one last piece that's quite interesting is how we make observations. So for example, I'll show a video or we'll see something and we'll already connect it right away to an assumption or a deduction without actually being an observation. So for example, we can see a little girl jumping and laughing. And I'll say, what do you see? And a lot of people say, she's happy. Is happy the same as smiling? Does smiling mean she's happy? It's very simple, but the observation is she's smiling, not necessarily she's happy. They're different. So I do a lot of these exercises with people so that they can observe where their brain's gone to.